Hey YouTube, it is I, Best Fishing Boy, here today with another video. And as you can see here, we have two Nintendo Switches here with us today. One of them being the base Nintendo Switch that released in 2017. So this is not the red box Switch. This was the first model that they released. And then we have the Nintendo Switch OLED, which released in 2021. It is the latest Switch model to have released. And I thought we would take a look at both of them and kind of compare them. And since I've been using this one since 2018, I know most of the problems with this one. And I've been using this one for around 3 months now, so I can confidently say I have kind of made up my mind about which one I prefer, and kind of the issues I found with this one too. So with that, let's just get right into it. We are going to start off with the base Nintendo Switch. And kind of the main thing I wanted to talk about here, this is probably by far my favorite change that they made. As you can see here on this Nintendo Switch, there is no kickstand. And that is because the kickstand on the base Nintendo Switch absolutely sucks. I mean, it is atrocious. It's honestly funny how horrible it is. I mean, it works for around 3 months and then it breaks. So, yeah, it's not good. We lost ours because it kept falling off so much. And honestly, I have no idea where it is. It's gone. It's left this earth. So yeah, that's definitely a major problem with the original Nintendo Switch, because I mean, there's nothing now. If you want to have it stand up, you either gotta buy one of these cases with the kickstand, which actually they're not too much on Amazon. They're like 20 bucks, so you can probably get them off online for cheap. But then you gotta put it in here, or lean it up against something like I have here. Well, the Switch OLED actually fixes this issue by using a metal kickstand, which it can't be popped off, which is really nice. It's a lot wider, as you can see, than the original Nintendo Switch, and it's way more adjustable. The original Nintendo Switch, I don't have the kickstand, but you could click it out or click it in. And this one, you can adjust how far back you want it. So I mean, if you want it way back here, there you go. If you want it up here, there you go. And it works really well. It's not flimsy at all. The hinges are very tight, so I don't know, I've been happy with it. I've used a ton since I've got this, and I've had no issues so far with it. I also like the matte, yeah, I guess kind of like matte. It's like a little bit of frosted finish on the back. The JoyCons also kind of have this, whereas in the original Switch, it's a glossier kind of finish that can pick up fingerprints pretty easily. So I don't know, I honestly prefer this finish. It looks cleaner in my opinion. It's not as shiny, as you can see there. I don't know, I prefer the Nintendo Switch OLED's finish a lot better. The JoyCons also kind of follow that same trend. I can't really show you, I mean, you can kind of see it. This blue Joy-Con is the only original Joy-Con I have. This is a replacement. It kind of has that glossy, shiny feel to it, whereas this replacement Joy-Con has a kind of the same finish as this. I don't know if you can't really probably see it. You can see it a little bit. This is a lot more shiny. If you see there, see it reflects more. That's just because it has more of a glossy finish. It's a lot like the Wii U's Pro Controller, which I'll show you. It's much like this kind of material. You look side by side there. It's a pretty much the same material. Which, I mean, I love this thing, but that glossy finish is definitely not a friend for fingerprints. I guess it is a friend for fingerprints because it picks it up, but if you don't like fingerprints, I don't recommend it. So I don't know. I'm not sure if the new Switches have that type of finish. I just noticed the OLED does. So I'd probably have to pick up an original Switch, or I guess, yeah, like a 2019 red box version to confidently tell you. But as of right now, compared to the 2017 Switch, the finish is definitely different. So yeah, that's pretty much the back of the console. Now I would like to kind of look at the front here. So for the front of the console here, obviously you have the OLED screen. I can show you. You can look at side by side here. I mean, it definitely looks better. You can see that those colors pop a lot more. Then let's just hop in here. Hold on. So yeah, as you can see, those colors definitely pop a lot more on the Switch OLED. So here you go. And that screen is a lot bigger. Here, I don't actually remember the screen sizes, but you can see these bezels are fairly large actually on the original Switch. I mean, the tablet itself is here. That's how big the tablet is, and the screen is, I mean, the screen's definitely a lot smaller, which isn't really the case for the Nintendo Switch OLED. The screen is much bigger. I'm fairly certain the console itself is actually bigger too. So the tablet's a lot bigger, but look at these bezels are not as big when compared to the original Switch. The console itself, if you put them side by side, they you can definitely see that this, I'll put them here. Yeah, they're lined up now. This Switch is slightly longer, which actually does pose a problem if you are switching from the original. See what I did there? Switching from the original Switch to a Switch OLED. A lot of accessories like grips and things will not work for this Switch OLED. I'll show you that here. This one will have a very hard time going in. Yeah, definitely is not made for this console. Oh no. Jeez, don't want to break it. Just need to push in the volume buttons. It really didn't like that. But yeah, I would recommend seeing if you can. They make special OLED size grips, so that is one downside of switching. But if you're just buying the normal Switch, it's not really a problem. All right, so yeah, that is the screen of the console. So the JoyCons are actually the exact same. You can, if you're wondering, you can interchange them, and they work perfectly fine on each console. So that's kind of a cool color scheme. Look at that, kind of like that. Whew. I have actually had a problem with this Switch in particular that I haven't had with the original Switch. Here, I'll zoom this back out here. So this right Joy-Con, and actually it's only this Joy-Con. So the white Joy-Con that came with this Switch has had some not good Bluetooth problems. I actually have the same problem with my right Joy-Con. That is, it's a green right Joy-Con. This one did not come with any Switch. I just bought it. These two both have had Bluetooth connectivity problems with both Switches. So it's not actually the Switch itself, but I'm not really sure if that's just me, but I don't know. I've only had it with right Joy-Cons. My red one works perfectly fine. I've never had any problems with it, but this one was weird because it started acting up right out of the box, whereas this one took a few months for it to start having some problems. But this one definitely has had some Bluetooth problems out of the box, and yeah, I mean, it's not too big of a deal since I have multiple sets of Joy-Cons. I'll just switch to another right Joy-Con, but for somebody who maybe only has one set of Joy-Cons that came with their Switch, this definitely could be a big problem, especially if they don't have a Pro Controller or any other controllers. So, I mean, that's an issue that I've had. I don't know if other people have had it or not, but again, I could just have a faulty Joy-Con that made it through the factory checks. So, I don't know. It could just be me. Anyway, one other thing that I've also noticed with this Switch is the power buttons. These buttons up here. Much different than the buttons on the normal Switch, as you can see side by side here. They're a lot longer and less circular, I would say. Like they're, you can see those, which actually I think makes it harder for them to press. It's easy for your fingers to find the power button here. It's a big dip. It's this big button here. Not really that big, but it's easy to find. The switch here, the volume switch actually sticks out of the console, which is really nice. It doesn't really do that on this, as you can see here. There's no, like, you don't know where the volume switch is. So I'm just trying to constantly guess which one is which. That's definitely one thing I do not prefer about this console. Because again, it's hard to find the power button. Because it's so flat, it almost just feels like you're not even pressing anything. Whereas this one, since it's circular, you can instantly tell that you've hit a divot in that bezel there. Whereas here, it's very hard to find. And then definitely those volume buttons. I've had numerous times where I've tried to hit the plus button, but I don't know which one is the plus button because they both feel exactly the same. So I'll hit the minus and then turn down my volume, which is not ideal. Definitely prefer the design here where they have it sticking out of the console and you can really feel the difference between each button. Because they have it stick out and then it goes down and then they stick out again. So, I don't know. I prefer that. As you can see, the game card slot is very different. The original Switch, the game card slot has this little slit here where you can just put your thumb under and boom, pick it out. The OLED doesn't really have that. It has this little tiny notch here, but it's very, if you don't have like long nails, it's very hard to open, which I really don't like. It's like you want your game card slot to be very easily accessible, which really is not the case. I mean, it takes, there you got it. It's kind of hard to get that slot open. Whereas this one was much more simplified. You just, boom, pop it open. Because it has that divot there. So, I don't know. I really prefer honestly, I really just prefer the top of this console a lot more than the OLED. I really don't like the OLED's redesigned top. It seems more like a downgrade than an upgrade. It's annoying, but to me, it's worth it just for that, for the kickstand and the screen. Other than that, that's pretty much the outside of the console. There's not really anything else different. Other than your SD card slots this way. Other than that, though, it's pretty much the same. The volume is said to be better in the OLED. To be quite honest with you, I really don't notice any difference. They're fairly the same volume-wise. This one might be slightly louder, but other than that, and you're probably gonna get the same experience no matter which one you pick. But that is the outside of the console. So let's take a look at the well, not the inside, but like kind of the software, how they run more so. So we'll turn them on here. Battery life is very much different on both consoles. For the original Switch, I mean, actually, as you can see here, they were both fully charged when I started the video. This one's already lost 1%. Hasn't been open for that long. This one is still at 100%. Which it doesn't seem like that much of a difference, but over time, this one will last me 2 to 3 days on one battery life, and I'm not using my Switch all the time, so if I'm like, going to work and stuff, and then I have a break or something, I take an hour, I'll just pull this out and play it. So for like average usage, so probably like three hours a day, maybe I'm on it, 3-4. This gets me probably 2 to 3 days of battery life, and then this will give me a day. This is about a day of battery life with that same kind of play time, which is a big difference. And I really prefer this console's battery life over that one, just because I don't have to constantly charge it every day, and I don't have to bring the charger with me. I just know that the console likely won't die while I have it with me, which is really convenient and easy, and I don't know, I really like that. Other than that, though, there's not really anything else different with this one. Still has all the same features. Obviously, you can dock it, you can put it in tabletop mode. JoyCons can be removed. All that jazz is pretty much the same. Speaking of the dock, actually, we have both of the docks here. Here is the original Switch's dock, which, as you can see, has the ports here. You have your AC port, your USB, and then HDMI, and then 2 USB ports on the side. This swings open, which is really nice. It's pretty chunky. It's a lot boxier than this one. This one has more rounded edges, as you can see here, which is very nice to look at. Kind of a different finish on the inside there than this one does. On the bottom here, the bottom's definitely different. This whole thing is a big rubber gripper, so it can grip to whatever you want it to. So that whole bottom is that rubber gripper, whereas this one is all plastic other than these 3 rubber stands here. Or 4, sorry, not 3. Can't talk. So this one is a lot more stable since it can grip onto a larger surface than this one. And then also, honestly, I prefer the original over this one because of this swinging mechanism here. This one, which I actually mentioned this in my thoughts video on the trailer.
There is one problem I see with it though. The back panel.
It pops out, which I don't know. It's fine if you have your Switch at a tight spot maybe, and you want to get it out, then that might be easier to unplug it and stuff. But I don't know, man. It seems like a really good way to lose it. You know, you just pop it out and there it went. It's bye-bye. Not getting that back. I don't know. It's kind of annoying. I honestly prefer the swinging mechanism of the original dock better, but I only can do so much. And then there's also one other difference with this. There's a LAN port on this one. It replaced the USB port for this one. So this one has 3 USBs, whereas this one only has 2. That's good for people who want to play online. I don't use it really, so I don't really care. It's just kind of more of a downgrade for me because it's just one less USB port. But I don't really have a problem with USBs because the Switch doesn't use much in terms of USB ports other than for charging Pro Controllers and stuff like that. Ooh, one other thing I wanted to mention is this Switch, as you can see, is perfectly straight. This Switch is not. I don't know if you can see it there, but there's definitely a bend here. I'm pretty sure they fixed this with the new Switch model, but I don't know if you can see that there is definitely a bend where it raises. See how it raises off the ground there? So yeah, it's bent forward, whereas this model definitely does not have that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they fixed that problem with the red box Switch of 2019, so you probably won't have that problem if you buy a Switch now. But I don't know, 2017 Switch definitely has a bend in it. So that's just one other thing. Other than that, though, that's pretty much everything there is to cover for both these Switches. And I honestly would recommend this Switch for anybody who cares about handheld and tabletop gameplay. So if you like like me, I love taking my Switch everywhere I go so I can play high quality games wherever. I don't have to resort to my phone. This is definitely the way to go with the OLED screen. It's very nice. The nice, really good kickstand. You can just pop it on a table and play it wherever you want. Honestly, it's just a Switch that's built for tabletop and handheld gameplay. Whereas this one, if I would buy, just save the $50. If you're just gonna use this for a home console, you're not planning on really bringing it anywhere with you that much, definitely get this one because there is no performance difference between both these consoles. They're both the same internally, and this one is $50 cheaper. If you're thinking about just playing your Switch at home and you're not planning on taking it out of its dock or anything, this is the way to go. Of course, you're gonna have a worse kickstand, but you're not really gonna need a kickstand for at-home gaming. And obviously, you're not gonna be using the screen that much. Definitely different for this version. I would say it's worth the 50 extra bucks if you're willing to get it, but if you want to save, there's always the original Switch or the Switch Lite. So yeah, with that, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this kind of review video. I don't really do much of these, but thought I'd just share my thoughts on my Switch OLED. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Hold on, let me get these in. Bye!